All right, so welcome guys to my Diamonds SC call. I'm really excited about today because I have been working with many of you for quite some time now, and you're all very close to my heart because you are all so teachable. You show up to everything. You all have such huge hearts, and you're all in this business. And I know for many of you, we have had many discussions along the way around the self-belief block that is there for even me at times. And I am really excited to have Karina on this call today because I can honestly say that I knew I wouldn't be able to say this without being emotional. But out of all of my friends in the world, Karina has certainly added the most value in terms of my personal growth from a friendship. And I can honestly say that I wouldn't be who I am today without her in my life. And she offers the most incredible advice. And I know it's what she loves to do. And, you know, she is a very skilled coach, but she also has an incredible heart. So I'm really excited. I've certainly had some chats with her along the way where she's helped me with this business. And she was the one that said to me, be so loud they can't ignore you, which I wouldn't have found my voice probably without saying that to myself for a good year. So I'm just kind of going to hand it over to you, Karina, because I'm not sure what you have planned. But Julie Hollis is the gorgeous mama who has kindly said that we can work with her today. And Julie knows we've had many conversations together. Julie has 4 children. 2 of them are still very little, her twins. So she certainly is still in very much mummy land, which I know you can resonate with, Karina. So I know you know the challenges that present with that when it comes to belief and time and the stresses of that as well. So you might want to bring yourself off mute as well, Julie, and I will just let you take it away, Karina.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Kira. I love you so much. Great. So I know that, hi, Julie. Hi. We're going to be chatting in a second. But I really want to make this call relevant to all of you. You know, I don't know where you are on your personal development journey, whether it's read a book, read some posts, because there's so much great stuff on Facebook these days, or whether you've gone to seminars. But you know, if I can share a little bit about me personally, I have for about 14 years now actively spent money on myself every single year in the personal development world. You know, I studied psychology at uni, and partly because I just loved how the brain works, but also what I got along the way, and what I really understand wholeheartedly now is our brain is this incredible tool that's really going to help us achieve our goals. But at the end of the day, our brain can control us and be our master, and not always in a good way. So, you know, we have this incredible thing, and that's what makes us really so different as a human species towards compared to any other life form on the planet, is that we have our heart and then we have our brain, and we really have a capacity to decide where we want to drive this body from. Do we want to come from our heart and our brain? And obviously we need both in this world, but if you can find ways to really still your mind, and as well as still your mind, and I did a live today on meditations. If you don't meditate yet, that's a great thing that you can do for yourself to still your mind. And then the other part is you need to train your mind, because I don't know about you guys here, but put your hand up if you can say that, yeah, there are times in the day or times in the week where you have negative self-talk going on. Who is that? Put your hand up. Perfect. And so even me, you know, I have an incredible husband who speaks for Tony Robbins and spoken with the best speakers in the world. Both of us, we're just like you, no different than you. Our mind can get the better of us, and it's our job to go, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to let my mind get the better of me. I'm going to be in charge. So with that, the starting thing that you need to do is work out, what are your beliefs? What are your beliefs? What are your beliefs about you? And what are your beliefs around you in this business? So there's your personal beliefs, And then there's kind of you put your hat on, and I don't know what you call yourself. Is it your Juice Plus hat or your Mama's on a mission hat? Whatever your phrase is for you when you're in this business, what are your beliefs around that? So I'm going to say hi to Julie in a sec and ask her some questions. But for it to be relevant for you, write down these questions. So as Julie answers, maybe your brain's ticking away, and maybe now's not the time to answer it for you. Maybe you can do both at the same time, but write them down and then take some time for yourself after the call to ask yourself these questions. So, hi, Julie. You're a mum of 4.
Yes, yeah, I am.
So am I. So, yay. You know what the beauty and chaos of that is, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. People always say to me, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't really know. I just, it somehow happens.
There you go. I'm sure there's lots of other women on here or mums on here who can relate. You don't know how you make life sometimes happen, but you just do, right? Perfect. So, I think Kira gave you some questions to think about for the week. What are your goals that you have for yourself in the business for the next? Let's start with the next 6 months.
I hadn't even really thought about the next 6 months. I really just thought literally about like the next goal. So the next goal for me is that I want to get to SSC. So I've been at SC now for just over a year. And I guess I've spent a lot of time going, what's wrong with me? Why, I have to get there. And I guess if I get there, I feel like I'm successful or I'm succeeding. So yeah, SSC. And by the end of the year, since you said 6 months, I'd like to be able to get to QNMD as a big goal for me.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm just taking notes here, just so I'm going to be able to ask you some great questions. So when you said, okay, so you want to reach SSC, and what are your beliefs around reaching SSC? Like, is it easy? Is it hard? What have you told yourself so far?
I feel, I think I've told myself it's hard, and what if I can't do it? Definitely thinking about what if I can't do it? What if I'm stuck at SC and I can just not go any further? And how's that going to help me, inspire other people to join me, or other, people in my team to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
because I feel like I feel like I'm really slow. Like, I feel like I often say to some of my friends that I'm like, if people are rushing off, I'm like, wait for me. I'm still packing, all my things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can I ask, why do you think you've been doing it slow? And setting aside the fact that obviously you're mum and you have little children, what do you think? What are your beliefs around why it's really slow for you?
I think it's because I feel like I compare myself to other people a lot. I think it's something I've always done from, I don't know whether it's just growing up and having an older sister, or, constantly just comparing, constantly comparing myself.
And so that's your feeling for why you think you're slow?
Yeah, and obviously, so there's fast track measures and that kind of thing, and I'm like, I missed that fast track measure. So maybe I'm not, maybe I can't, maybe I'm just not going to be able to do it quickly, or I feel like I'm just going to always be stuck with a lack of momentum to build on. Yeah.
And so if I were to ask you, just the first thought that pops in your mind, or the first you're feeling, what do you think has been holding you back? Because you said you sat there at SC for over a year.
I definitely think self-belief's massive, negative self-talk. Just being caught up with, I like what Kira was talking about, like that whole trying to get balance in my life. I feel like I need balance, but I don't feel like I can get any, because I'm, running from, school drop-offs to trying to manage my well-being, doing exercise, and then, food, and my husband travels a lot for work, and I feel like I'm like thinking for 5 people in my family, and sometimes 6, because he's like having another child sometimes, and I'm just like, I just feel like my brain gets overloaded with decisions, and I feel like and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to. Sometimes I just want to give up as well. I just go, maybe I can't do it. And I remember recently, I said to Mike, I just don't think I can do it. Maybe it's just not for me. But yet, when I look at all the things that I've wanted to do, this is everything. It answers all the things that I've always wanted to do, something that I love, and to do something that is on my own terms and not have to have a manager or a boss or anyone like that. And, I was even thinking about it this morning. As I was thinking about the questions, I was like, even personal development, I used to be into doing things like that, but ever since becoming a mum, I just put myself so low down the priorities, and it's so hard to even think about moving out of that way. And if I spend too much time on my work, I look at the house and I'm like, oh my God, it's chaos. And then it's like, dinner's not going to be served at 5 o'clock. We're not going to eat till 7. And then I'm like, going, oh, I've got to have to get takeaways because I need to get my kids to bed. And I just feel like I'm in this massive, fog of just managing to survive.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't want to be like so much. Yeah.
I feel you. There's so many mums on here who nodding their heads right now because they get where you're at. Sometimes I question whether a woman's life is actually easier than a man's life. And I know that the men have the same belief in the other flip way. Yeah. They think a woman's life is easy in terms of some of the choices we have. Yeah. But I guess I'll bring you back to your truth, because I get that there's all those things floating around, the need to do all those things, whether it's get them on the table, be organised, how do you be there for the little kids, and how do you get your business done? And yet somehow you've managed to get to this place now. Somehow, even with all those things going on, you've managed to get to SC. So with that, just take a deep breath. And you have to remind yourself of those victories. I know that in those tough moments when there's so many thoughts going on and you're like, how do I juggle it all? You forget. But it's in those moments you just need to breathe. I just came back to from this beautiful meditation course, and I'm like, some of the truths that they taught me are so simple. And one of them is just take 5 deep breaths. Every single time you feel yourself getting caught up and you can feel that internal angst, take 5 deep breaths. And if you have to, in each breath, rotate between your fingers, and they'll just force you to focus on your breath and your fingers for that moment. So then you're not caught up in all the thoughts going on your head, because it gets too much, right? I get it. Do that and find a moment of stillness. And sometimes if you have to go hide in the cupboard from your kids, I have a walk-in kitchen. I go in there. Sometimes I let out a scream because it just gets too much. Do whatever you need to do just to release the emotion, because you have to let out the emotion. So you want to have some good tools to deal with the emotions, whether it's 5 deep breaths. So just write that down. Reminder, when I get overwhelmed, take 5 deep breaths. Sometimes you want to have, and you always want to have more than one. So you ideally come up with 3 things that you can do in any moment that's easy for you to do, for you to be able to manage your stress. So another thing I have is I have a rebounder. I don't know if you have a trampoline or a stress ball, something you can do that's around your house or wherever you are that you can go in that moment. I'm just going to do something to get myself out from that frazzled state to then getting to a calm state. So 3 things, write that down, 3 things you can do. What's one more thing that you can do, or 2 more things, Julie, you can do when you feel yourself getting frazzled that you can do that's easy and stress-free for you, just to remind yourself just to feel better? Is it put on music? What is it? What do you like to do that can just change your state?
It's funny because it's like you feel like this is the kind of things that I say to my kids. So I've done a lot of yoga, and I'll tell my kid, and I did some kids yoga teaching. So I'll tell my kids when they're getting really angry and frustrated to get into dog pose and things like that. So that the blood goes to their head, like to empty out. Definitely that. And I'm thinking back, these things, strategies that I used after I had Wilbur. I had quite severe postnatal depression, and I found that legs up the wall pose and yoga was really beneficial for me to calm down. So that's definitely something that that I can do.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
And what about something for even just driving with the kids in a car and you get stressed? Because there are times you get stressed thinking about all the things you have to do and you're not doing. What's something you do in that moment?
Music, like singing. I think music, singing, or chanting. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, you can create that little ritual in your life where anytime you either take the breath or you do one of those yoga poses or you sing, how many minutes does that have to take you to change how you feel?
Not long.
Not long.
Yeah, not long.
Perfect.
No, yeah.
And so I guess, again, I don't know, what programs you've done or everybody else, but, to feel overwhelmed or stressed, there is a posture that's associated to that. If you're feeling sad, do you look up or do you look down?
Me? Down, I think. Yeah.
And it's actually universal. So there is a physiology in our body anytime we get stressed that we do. So if you want to get out of that feeling, the easiest way to do that is to move your body. And that's why I asked, what are 3 things that you can do, whether that's sing, that usually invites more oxygen into your body, or whether that's jump or yoga pose, that's moving your body, and that gets you out of the physical feeling of holding on to the stress. So that's just a tool. We'll go back to your beliefs now. I guess, that whole thing that you said, what's wrong with me? And you wrote, you have, your negative self-talk. So have you done any of Tony's work at all?
I've never done any of Tony's. The only personal development work I've done is Landmark. I've done some Landmark, quite a few courses through Landmark, but nothing for since I've had kids, so nothing for 11 years.
Yeah. So afterwards, you go on YouTube. There are so many great short snippets of videos of Tony Robbins with motivational things in there. But what I love about his things, and I've been doing his work for 10 years, is that he really helps you retrain your mind to get some more new beliefs in there for you. So go Google that afterwards. But for now, he talks about that we all as humans have the 2 same fears. One, what's wrong with me comes back to, am I enough? And the other fear is, will I be loved? That's it. We're all the same, and we all have those feelings instinctually, those fears in there somewhere. And so it's our job in those moments when those thoughts come up to go, great, what can I do again to center myself and just remind myself what's the truth? Because I'd ask you, Julie, what's the truth? When you ask yourself what's wrong with you, in this place right now, because you're not stuck in that feeling, what's the truth? Is there something wrong with you?
No. But I still, but the mind still has all this evidence of why I'm not good at, it's like in my heart, I feel no, but my mind is just telling me so many things.
Cool. So let's go look at some of those things in your mind. Give me some examples. What are some of the stories that you have in your mind that tell you on that? I often don't feel good enough. That I'm doing it. I'll second guess myself for how I do things. Have I done it right? So I find it hard to make decisions really quickly. Even just doing a post on Facebook, and I'm worrying about, I think there's so many worries that come up for me. Like, am I going to upset somebody? Because I think invariably in a business like this, you come across, upsetting people. And that's obviously something that I try to avoid for a long time. Can you hold on 2 seconds? I'm just going. Love it.
All the mummy moments we get to have in this business.
Yeah, I actually I got my dad to come to come and help out so I could focus on this.
We
She
love
just wants to be hanging out with me. And
of course.
I draw a picture down here. There you go. All right.
Nothing better than mum.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I can't hear anything at the moment.
Yeah. It's weird.
You want to do take Elsie outside?
She's just disappeared. I don't know where she's going. I think her phone's broken. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to message her. Ah, here she is.
Hello, can you hear me?
Got you back.
Hi, sorry. I think the internet guy came and just turned our technology, all our internet off. You love that. Okay, so I'm on my phone now. I'm going to try and do my best with the phone. Great. So, Julie, we'll go back to, if you were to ask yourself this question, what's the question that pops up to you? And for everybody else, you'll have a question as well. What's the question, do you think, when during the day that you ask yourself the most in terms of negative self-talk?
In terms of negative self-talk, there's probably so many, to be honest.
There'll be one that you'll ask more than the other.
What's wrong? Probably what's wrong with me, to be honest. Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Tony talks about something that he calls the primary question, and he calls the primary question any question that you would ask yourself most often throughout the day. And this question, you may not always ask it to yourself, but it kind of motivates every action that you do. So if you think of yourself throughout the day, how often do you think now, see yourself waking up from making breakfast to then going about doing things? Is that the question that you ask yourself the most, unconsciously or consciously?
Have I, it's been that, or have I got it right, or am I doing this right?
Okay, so which one would you say is it more?
Probably, am I doing this right?
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to give you a brief crash course on what Tony talks about, which is his 6 humor. So his model is that everything you do is driven by 6 basic human needs. Every action in life, and it's either to get love and connection. So that could be just you feeling love and connection with yourself. So one of those ways that might show up is, for some people, they might end up eating. Eating is just to slow down and connect with themselves, or it could be that you're reaching out to a friend and trying to connect with them. So you're doing it out of love and connection. You could be doing it out of your need to get some significance, which means significance is anytime you want to feel worthy as a human being, either to yourself or to others. You can be doing something because you're looking for some variety, or you could be love and connection, significance, variety, growth, because you're trying to grow and learn, contribution. And Kira, help me out. My 6th one is not coming to me now. Love and connection, significance, variety. Can't believe I'm having a mind blank right now. Give me a moment. I can't see. Kira, is it coming to you?
No, I feel like it's one of
certainty. Sorry, that's mine. Duh.
Okay. Mine.
Yeah. And Julie, the other one is certainty. So that's when you're like trying to make sure that everything stays the same, or that you know that you can handle it. If I were to ask you, Julie, when you ask yourself the question, am I doing this right? And I've just lost you. I wonder how I can get you back on your screen. There you are. Julie, if you're going to ask yourself, when you ask yourself, am I doing this right? Are you trying to get certainty that you're doing the right job? Are you trying to get love from someone or yourself? Are you trying to make sure that you feel important as a human being?
Okay.
Variety, growth, it's one of those 4. Certainty, love, significance, or variety. Which 4? You pick 2 of them. There's 2 main ones that you're doing that for. So you nodded yes to certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're trying to get it right.
Yeah.
Because if you get it right, then what happens?
I think love and connection would be the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to get love and connection.
Yeah.
So there's no right or wrong with this, but we all have a question. So for everybody else, ask yourself, what's a question that you ask yourself a lot that drives a lot of your behavior throughout the day, consciously or unconsciously? And then ask yourself, of the 6 human needs, if you miss them, there's certainty, love and connection, significance, variety, and then the last 2 are growth and contribution. But they kind of come once you've met your 4 basic human needs. So you're driven by certainty and love and connection. Now, here's the thing. The only way, and we're going to do a little silly game right now. No, actually, we're going to do it in a second. So this question's there in the background. It's your job for you to be the master of your brain and ask yourself a better question. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because the fear is the same for all of us. Even Tony Robbins, even, the presidents of the world, the most successful people, whether they be Olympic athletes, whoever they are, they all have the same fears. But the only difference between them and you and I is they've mastered their brain. And they're the ones who are in charge of their thoughts and beliefs, not letting their brain, which is designed for survival, be in charge. So I don't know if you want to give yourself, beliefs about who you are, like an identity. Like I often say to my husband as a joke, he's going out to slay dragons. Like that's how he's the conqueror of the world. If there was a name or an identity that you could give to yourself, who are you? Like I kind of see myself as Superwoman. When I'm taking on the world, I'm Superwoman out there on a mission. Who's something that excites you, or somebody you really believe in that you want to be like, that you know has tapped into their power, who's totally certain all the time? Who's somebody? If it's a cartoon or a TV character, or somebody who's real, or somebody that's you make up a different version of Julie, who's someone that you know with absolute certainty knows out there who can get shit done and go handle the world? Who's that?
Oh.
Model?
I would say Kira.
Yes.
Would definitely be one of those people. yeah, so like a, yeah, in this, yeah, and like, I don't know, I guess, you know, I guess in this, I see a lot, I don't really watch TV or anything these days, I haven't done it for a long time. So, yeah, so like when you said super mum, like that's something like that, to be like that, but in some ways I feel like that also, I use that to beat myself up when I'm not. So,
Okay.
you mean like someone that you really look up to?
Yeah, so it's when I say this, it's kind of like you have moments where you become uncertain, right? And when you become uncertain, all those thoughts come in about, am I doing this right? Have I done it right? Am I going to upset someone? So for you to be able to make a good post, for you to be able to get to your get those customers, and for them to feel you, you have to be certain in yourself that whatever you're doing, whether it's taking on the kids, it's like, yep, going to get this handled. Whether it's you going, yep, I'm going to get to SSC, I've got this handled. But for you to do that, you're strong and confident in your body. And one of the ways to do that is to take on, like, put on a superhero cape. So, and it doesn't have to be a superhero cape, but for me, when I think of Superwoman, I think of, you know, she's out in the mission, she's out on the world, and she's going to go and get the job done at all costs. There's no fear, and no matter what the fear is, she's going to go get the job done. So it's kind of like, you know, we can be whoever we want to be in our brain, because we get to create our stories in our brain. We are our beliefs. That's it. So you could either have the belief of saying, hey, am I doing this right? And getting scared about that you're going to get it wrong, in which case, can I ask, how much more likely are you going to get to your SSC goal if you're stuck with those beliefs than if you were, for example, taking on the Superwoman cape? Attitude. Completely different, right? So all I ask is, who's someone that you can think of, and you already named Kira, so that's one excellent role model, because you can ask yourself, what will Kira say? What will Kira do? And when you ask yourself that question, how do you feel in that moment when you're thinking about juice class?
Yeah, because I see Kira as someone she's so certain and so passionate, and like nothing is going to faze her. You know, like it doesn't matter what people say. She,
Perfect. So you can put your Kira Westwick hat on. And by that mean not talk like her, but ask yourself, what would Kira do? What would she think? What would she do in this moment? Because she's already someone, like you say, who she's moved through her fears, and we know that because we've seen her do it, and she is always vulnerable and real about who she is, and yet she has fears like you and me, and she keeps doing it anyway. Our job is not to say the fears aren't there. They're there. But it's our job to make sure you get certain and strong in your body, because that's it. We can become victim to our fears, or we can take control and say, you know what, I'm not going to let these fears stop me. So Kira's one great resource. What's another one that really inspires you? Somebody that you can think of, whether it's someone famous or on TV or a cartoon, anybody, any character or person that you know of, who you know is absolutely rock solid certain.
Yes, good idea, Doodle Rules. I'll use you. It shouldn't take long to pack away. My box of eggs.
Rock solid certain. Somebody who inspires you.
Someone who inspires me.
You know, that just goes out there and makes their thing happen. It doesn't have to be a woman.
Yeah, like this is going to sound really corny, but like someone like Oprah, because she's
absolutely. So can I ask Oprah, who's she? Is she a victim or a survivor?
She's a survivor.
So you know her story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And can I ask, in all her years in TV and presenting, has she faced some challenges?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. And she struggles through ones about how people, what do people think about Oprah? I mean, how many viewers does Oprah have, right?
Yeah.
And yet, what does she do? Who would you say is Oprah as a woman? Who is she? Tell me about Oprah.
Strong.
Yes.
She's a huge amount of love and compassion for people, and I think she's so it's like so many things that I think she does really well. She really wants to make a difference for people, and she she's it sounds like the same thing. She's really caring, and she's quite, I think she's really I think she's just really clear about what kind of difference she's trying to make in the world with what she does. Yeah.
Perfect. So now, and Kira, just block your ears for a second. You get to put out a print out a picture of Oprah, print out a picture of Kira, and or you have a little picture of her on your phone, but you want to have little reminders all around the house that when you get stuck, you can go put my Kira hat on or put my Oprah suit on, and you just go and see the world as if you were one of them. Because from that place, when you're doing juice class, what do you think will happen if you're either Oprah or Kira? What do you think will happen to your juice class business?
Oh, I'd definitely be more, I'd be more living more probably from my heart than it would be from my head, that's for sure. I would not be sitting around questioning myself all the time.
Because that's draining, isn't it?
It's exhausting, yeah.
And so we all have those moments where we go into those patterns. It's our job just to snap ourselves out of it like that quickly. And you gave me 3 things that you can do. What are 3 things that you can do when you get stuck in those cycles of those negative thoughts? What were 3 things, Julie?
It was the chanting or singing. It was the moving. They took the breathing, and I can also do like a yoga posture, like legs at the wall or something, just to breathe and calm down.
Perfect. So you can do those 3 things anytime you get stuck in your old thoughts, and then you get to put on your Kira suit or your Oprah suit and then be a woman who's going to go out there and shake the world. So write down both those names, but I want you to actually print out their little mini-sized photos and put them, take it as a screenshot on your phone or put it on your vision board or put it all around the house, stick it on the back of your toilet door with a blue tack. You know, and they're great little reminders of who you want to be and how you want to embody your life. And then we'll come back to your questions. So now that you know, you said the question you asked is, have I got it right? And you're doing it out of certainty and love. Now, can I ask, what's a more powerful question that you can ask yourself that allows you to feel certain and love and connection to yourself? And it can start with something like, how can I appreciate what in this world? Or how can I appreciate who I am? Or like something like that. So I'll give you an example of mine, and this might help you a bit. So I used to ask myself always the questions of, have I done it? Have I done enough? Have I done everything? That was my old primary question. And so I was trying to get certainty, and I was trying to get love in that moment, because if I felt like I did everything, then I knew that I was going to get certainty. But certainty for me was love from another human being, and that's kind of the question that I created as a young girl, trying to get love from my parents. So the new question that I ask myself now, and it has to meet the same need of wanting to feel certain as well as getting love and connection, is, how can I appreciate all of my God-given talents right now? And by asking myself that question, in that moment, I feel really certain, because I'm tapping into God. I'm like, if I've got God's power, I can do anything. And it doesn't have to be that for you, but it's whatever makes you feel certain. And then God's given talents, it's like, well, I feel so connected with all the talents that I have. And all of a sudden, when I feel connected to how amazing I am as a human being, I have so much more to give, because I'm not operating from lack. The thing is, when we get stuck in those stories of our fears of, am I enough? Am I doing this right? Am I going to upset someone? In those moments, are you operating from lack or fullness about how you feel?
Yeah.
Would you say lack or fullness?
For how I have been asking myself those questions, I'm completely just like exactly what's wrong with me, just constantly like what do I need to improve, and then it goes to I don't know what's good about me, that's kind of how low it gets. Yeah.
And so it's your job to ask yourself a better question, because at the end of the day, the questions we ask ourselves, and I know it seems so simple, but this will change your life if you ask. And that's why Kira does those beautiful quote cards, and people post them 100 times a day on Facebook. There's so much stuff that you can access every day where people put beautiful quotes on there, but you have to ask yourself a great question, because if you ask a shitty question, what do? You get a shitty
answer.
Yeah. Ask yourself a great question and you get a
much better answer. Yeah.
So what's a new question you can ask yourself that allows you to feel certain that Julie Hollis is just amazing? She can get everything handled. She's got all the love she needs, and she's going to be like Oprah and Kira, setting the world on fire. What's a question you can ask yourself?
I quite like similar to like what you had. Yeah, how can I love and appreciate the gifts that I have more?
Perfect. So if you've written it down, I'll just get you to change some of the words.
Yeah.
How can I appreciate even more?
How can I appreciate even more?
All the love and gifts that I have. Right.
All the love.
You said love and gifts?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes, that I have right now.
How can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Mm-hmm. And so can I ask, looking at that question, I really want you to take some deep breaths and feel that. How can I appreciate even more? Just say it to yourself a few times. You can say it out loud with your whole body.
How can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Say it again. Say it 3 more times, but I want you to say it now with a strong voice. And if you can, Julie, this is how you get to say it. I'd like you to stand up right now. This was great. Kids never think mum's crazy, or either that or mum's crazy all the time. So I'm standing up with you. And now hold up. Yep. Now say to yourself, standing up and standing strong. Take some deep breaths. Deep breath. Yep.
How can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Perfect. And now just say it, breathing into your heart. Feel yourself breathing into your heart, and ask it, if you need to, with your eyes closed. How can I appreciate even more all the gifts and love that I have right now? Or whatever. Is that right? Ask it to yourself with your eyes closed, hands on your heart. Even more. Say it stronger.
How can I appreciate even more all the gifts and love that I have right now?
Mm-hmm. And again, even more. Just really feel how beautiful that is.
How can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Perfect. Now I want you to ask yourself that same question, but from a playful place.
But from a what?
A playful place. Is there a playful side to you? Yeah?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah?
Well,
okay. So perfect. Ask it from that place.
How can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Okay. So that was a little bit playful. Do you think you could take it up even more? Like, I don't know, out of 10, how playful would you have said that was?
Only a tiny bit.
Okay, cool. If you were your kids, when they're playful, how playful are they?
Pretty playful.
Cool. So pretend you're one of your kids right now and ask yourself that same question like you were one of your kids from that playful place.
How can I love and appreciate myself, the gifts that I have? How can I love and appreciate myself even more for all the love and gifts that I have now?
Perfect. Now say it with a big smile on your face, an even bigger smile.
Oh, it's scary because it's like I feel like of all that stuff, you know. That, how can I love and how can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Mm-hmm. And now say with absolute certainty, if you're Oprah or Kira right now, and both of those women are, how committed are they to setting the world on fire?
Very.
Or 100%?
Yeah.
100% or a little?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So now I need you to stand strong. I don't know if you're holding your laptop or your phone.
Yeah.
As best as you can. Yeah. But stand strong and do
Yeah.
whatever you have to do to get in a strong posture in your body. And breathe and feel as if you're Oprah or Kira right now, whichever one comes to mind. Who comes to mind? Is it Oprah or Kira right now when you're thinking about strength and certainty? Come on.
Probably Kira.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So stand right now, close your eyes if you have to, take 3 deep breaths and stand with the level of certainty and the strength that Kira has to set the world on fire. Take that in, take 3 deep breaths, close your eyes, stand strong. 3 deep breaths. And with every breath, feel yourself getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And if you're not on level 10 yet, I want you to take it to level 10 of strength and certainty in your body. That's it. Keep going. That's it. Even stronger. Even stronger. And from this place, I want you to ask that same question. From that level of certainty, ask yourself the question.
How can I love and appreciate all the gifts that I have, all the love and gifts that I have right now?
Perfect. But this is a new question, and for everybody else, for you on the phone, you need to ask yourself, what's a question you asked yourself in the past, and then go, okay, what are the 6 human needs, and maybe we can do a little follow-up or call again on this at another time, Kira. But you want to ask yourself, what needs were you trying to meet by asking this question? Was it certainty? Was it love and connection? Was it significance or variety? And don't judge yourself. There's no right or wrong answer. And then you want to create a new question for yourself, because this question is there in the background all the time, and it's one of the things that you may not be aware of, but it's really holding you back. And it's your job to create a new question that allows you to feel strong and powerful every single moment of the day, and for you to feel like you're alive in the best version of you. So you get to play with that question. If it's still not quite right, Julie, you get to change it. Fiddle around with the words. But here's the thing about this question. You need to now make this your new question, because can I ask you, Julie, how old are you?
I just turned 40. So.
Woohoo! Don't they say that's like the new 30?
Yeah, completely.
Perfect. So here's what's kind of not so cool. That means you've been asking yourself this question for a really long time, right? Yeah. And it's you to now have this new question be the place where you operate from in your life. You need to say this question, write it out, take a photo of it, have it be your screenshot on your laptop, have it be on your phone, have it be on your mirror when you do your makeup, when you get changed. You want to remind yourself and ask yourself this question. I don't know if you do any form of exercise like running, but if there's something that you do like cardio-wise where you're really moving your body, you want to ask yourself this question over and over again while you're running or moving your body and you're feeling really strong and physically present in your body. Does that make sense? The reason being, that's when your body is alive and fully engaged, and that question will become a new part of you. It'll become a part of how you see yourself, because you're putting on your Kira hat, your super cape, or your Oprah super cape. And so can I ask, if you ask yourself this question, what's the question, Julie?
How can I appreciate even more all the love and gifts that I have right now?
If you ask yourself this question the next time you sit down to do a Juice Plus post, will you
worried about whether you're going to upset someone?
No.
Will you be worried about whether you've done it right or not?
No.
Next time you're out in public and there's somebody who you could see as an opportunity for Juice Plus conversation, and you ask yourself that question, what will be different?
Well, I would have the courage to do it rather than thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
assessing it. Yeah, safe or whatever.
And here's the thing for all of us, I want you to keep this in mind. You know, I listened to another great training call, and I don't know whose it was because there's so many from Kira and Adam that are just amazing. But, you know, it's like everybody wants to know what the secret sauce is. And I keep hearing again, there is no secret sauce. There really is no secret sauce other than the basic tools which Kira and Adam have given us for each of us to succeed in the business. Like, they really have made it easy for us to win. But the difference between the people who get to SSC and the difference with those people like Jeff Roberti, who are so successful and have been in there, is their mindset. That's it. That's the only difference, because we are all born, if you're fortunate enough to be on this call, you were born in a privileged place of the world. And we all have access to internet. We all have, I'm assuming if you're on this call, you know, the basics of life are taken care of. You're not struggling to find grocery monies to put on the table. So if that's true and that's not you, like you're not trying to just take care of your everyday, ordinary existence, then you have no reason not to be successful. And I truly believe that. And so it's your job for you to ask yourself great questions. You know, I don't know about you, but part of the reason why I love being in a female community and, you know, the boss babe community and all of that is because we're heart-driven people. But for you to get back out of your head and into your heart, you have to ask those great questions and have those reminders everywhere about, you know, living deliberately and I'm going to be so awesome today. All those posts that you see. It seems like sometimes you're really just doing work, but we all need those reminders to just pause and go, how awesome am I as a human being? And asking yourself a great question like you did about how loving and how amazing you are. And when you do that, when you ask yourself that question every day, Julie, can I ask, from that place and that question and that answer, what can you achieve?
I can achieve anything.
Because here's the brilliant thing. From the moment we're born, nobody has any more time than anybody else.
Yeah.
We all get a level playing field for time. So I get that your life's complicated and busy. Mine is too. I also have 4 kids. But you've managed to get to SC. You have, which means you found the time to get there. So all you have to do is still your mind when you get overwhelmed. Take some deep breaths, do an upside down yoga pose, play a song. Remind yourself why it's easy and what you can do. And then ask yourself the great question, and then get back to doing Juice Plus business. And there's obviously some simple things that you can do in terms of strategies. You need to maybe start keeping a better diary or better system for you to get all your thoughts out, and then planning your week in advance, just so you have some certainty around when you're doing Juice Plus, when you're doing mummy time, when you're doing family time. Obviously some simple things like, you know, just doing 15-minute meals. I've gotten really good at doing 15-minute meals during the week, and fancy meals, they're like on the never plan, except for when I'm hosting friends. Just because something has to give. We can't do it all. I used to be like, yeah, I can do it all. You can't do it all. And when you acknowledge that, you just say the things that matter. I'm only going to do the things that matter, and take the pressure off yourself. Just do the things that matter. And you probably are, but you were worried about all the other small things. And when you find yourself again getting caught up in the small things, ask yourself that new question. So what's your new question, Julie? I just want to hear it one more time.
How can I appreciate even more all of the love and gifts that I have right now?
Perfect. And when you do that, you'll be ready to set the world on fire from that place.
Yeah.
So Kira, I have one little thing that I have to do as part of this exercise. Do I have 5 more minutes?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So Julie, and this is for everybody. When you get your questions, I don't know how to get everybody on my screen because I'm on my phone.
Right to the left, you should be able to see everyone.
My dad's waiting for all this stuff. I've got to help him set up the new computer with internet access. That's great. That's what we said.
See everyone. Can I ask for everyone is if your hand is up, do you know what your old primary question was? Kira, can you see if people are putting up their hand?
Yeah.
Who's putting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who know what your old primary question is, and Julie, you get to stand up too. We get to do a silly little exercise right now, because what you have to do is this old question is in your body right now, and you want to get it out of your body. So we're going to do a quick little game. It's going to take about 2 minutes, maybe even less. But your job is to be fully silly and playful with it. So for those of you who know what your question is, get up and stand your old question. Not the one you want to have, but the one that you know you've been asking yourself. And now you want to stand on one foot and put one leg behind you. Hold it up. You can't even see it. There's my leg. And now ask yourself that old question. But as you do, your other hand and jump up on the spot and say it in a Minnie Mouse voice. Say your old question out. So, ask your old question out now in a Mickey Mouse high-pitched voice. And now put your finger in your nose. Do it. I can see you guys. You're not doing it. Julie, put your finger in your nose. And now turn around in a circle. Keep asking yourself the question. And now do it like you're a cowboy, like in an old Western movie from the country. And you're like, why haven't I done enough? I don't even know how the Americans speak, but just pretend you're like in a hoedown. And now dance on the spot. Ask yourself the old question. You're trying to get rid of it and make it so silly. So go. And now I want you to say your old question backwards. So say it backwards. Keep saying it over and over again. I can see your mouth not moving. For the rest of you on the call, go what? Done enough? Have not? Why enough? And now say it in a really fastest, forwardest pitched voice, like. And now make it more crazy and jump it up and down on the side. And now I want to check in, Julie. Sorry, a bit puffed. When you ask yourself your old question, which is, am I doing it right? Is that right? Is that your old question?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel?
That's silly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. Because the thing is, when we ask ourselves questions all over and over again, it really becomes ingrained in our body.
Yeah.
Like we all have habits, and that question is a habit because you've been asking it for a long time. So it's our job, when you realize you have a question you ask yourself that doesn't work, you have to kind of like scramble it, like you're making eggs in a fry pan and you're trying to scramble it. You have to scramble it. Otherwise, it's still going to be stuck in your nervous system. And so when you do that, you kind of now, you ask that question and you feel different about it than before, right? Your old question, you feel different about your old question, right?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't worked out what your question is, just after you get off the call, go about your day and then notice what's coming up in your mind. And if that's the question, write it down and see if it comes up more than once. And once it comes up, you now know that in 2 minutes, this is an NLP2, which means neuro-linguistic program, just a fancy psychology term about how in our body, when we get in a certain way by asking a certain question, there's a physiology to that. And you can change how you feel about that quick. That whole activity took less than 2 minutes. I had my clock on. And it's our job to really make ourselves feel good. That's it. If you can put yourself in a good state, whether that's putting on good music or anything that allows you to breathe and feel your heart space, then you will ask better questions from this place. And then you have a new primary question you get to ask yourself. And for now, Julie, you will want to ask, and everybody else, you want to ask yourself this question 10, 20 times a day. When you're slicing tonight and making dinner, ask yourself the question. If you find yourself getting frazzled at dinner time with the kids, ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question over and over again until all of a sudden it becomes a new question you ask yourself in the back of your mind. So with that, I hope that was helpful. This is just like the beginning of so much work that you can do on yourself. For those of you who haven't had exposure to Tony Robbins, jump on Google, jump on YouTube. He has so much great stuff on there. But I find no matter what work you do in terms of your personal development, you need to do something continuously. You know, sometimes I will watch just 10 minutes while I'm in the toilet or, you know, having a moment, and I'll reset myself to get back in a good place, because I too get into bad habits and asking myself poor questions that don't serve. So you have to constantly put yourself in a good environment where you get to feel good. And one of those ways to do that is to watch some of the great things that Tony has to teach, or Oprah, whoever it is for you. But do something consistently as part of your weekly thing, because if you're centered, your team will be centered. If you're centered and strong about where you want to go, your customers will feel that from you. They will feel your excitement. They will feel your strength. They will feel your vision. And, you know, the person, when there's a two-person dynamic, the strongest person always wins. So if you're the most heart-centered, congruent person and you know your vision, people will want to join your team. They will want to join your team because they will be compelled to, because you've got something they haven't got. And that's heart and spirit and certainty to know that what you've got, and I truly believe this business can set people free. And I know you guys know that. That's why you're on this call. This business can improve people's health, and it can give them the freedom and the choices that so many Australians and so many people around the world don't have or they want. So with that, I wish you well. Hope this has been useful to you, and thanks so much, Kira, and thanks, Julie, for playing full out and being vulnerable. You were beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karina. How cool is it that I get to say that she's my friend? So amazing. Like, I know that you've blown everyone away, all the comments, everyone. I know that everyone got a lot out of that. And I just want to say to you, Julie, I just so appreciate you being vulnerable with us today. And I know that I've said it to you before, but there is so much beauty that shines out of you. You are one of the most heart-driven people that I've ever met, and there's just something about you that I just resonate with so much. And I know that there are so many women out there waiting to be inspired by you and your story, and it really is your imperfections that make you perfect. Because if you were perfect and you did get everything right, then no one would want to be around you anyway, right? So, you know, I'm just waiting for you to see what we see. When you were doing those activities, there's something about you that radiates. There's so much light in you. And I really hope that you begin to feel that for yourself, because we all see it and we all feel it, that's for sure. So thank you so much to both of you ladies and for everyone else on here. And I'll stop record now.